Sports Information Director Andria Wenzel here with 12th year head coach Carolyn Zimmerman. I guess our first question for you, the team's been practicing for about over a week now. Can you give Titan fans a little bit of an inside glimpse into how double days have been going?
Well, I think first off, we have to address the issue. We've got a lot of new faces in the gym right now, so we're spending a lot of time on two of the training courts together, just familiarizing ourselves with the new personnel and building some of that those relationships and that key team chemistry. We're looking forward to getting downstairs in Titan Gym today. We're pretty excited to get on our new floor, but we have 9 new Titans between last spring and this fall, incoming freshmen, and so there's a lot of new faces, and people are, the newbies are outnumbering the returners, but excited about what we see. We think that we're further along in some areas as it relates to ball control where we've been in previous seasons. We're very excited about that. We continue to work hard to identify who our scorers are and different ways that some of our personnel can score points in the match because, as you know, those will be the key to the wins.
Okay. And now you alluded to it a little bit, but over your half of your roster is new, 9 newcomers, 6 of them freshmen. What is the process like to integrate so many newcomers into the system?
Well, I think number one, it starts in the recruiting process, the relationships that we build during that time. So there's a lot of discussion, and for some of the recruits, it's, the grooming process has been over 2 years from the time that they've committed to the time that they actually arrive at Cal State Fullerton. So I'd say it's been, pretty seamless. They appear to be low maintenance. Right now they don't have a whole lot on their plates. It's just, when do we eat, coach? When is practice? And, there's no convincing to go to bed, so they're doing all of those things. But as we know, in about a week when school starts, there'll be a little bit more coming their way. But in terms of those relationships that we've been building over the course of a couple of years in the process of recruiting, I have definitely sent the message out of different things that they need to be working on so that they're more prepared for the collegiate experience and to contribute immediately, because with those kinds of numbers, we're certainly looking for the freshman class to make a big contribution to our program.
Okay. Now, can you tell us what the expectations are for your freshman class and maybe who will be competing for playing time right away?
Well, I think right away we all know that we have a gap in our outside hitting position. We are potentially looking at a transfer filling that, or possibly 2 freshmen. Right now, the 2 freshmen are battling it out. Our incoming transfer has been a little under the weather, so she hasn't been 100% yet. But we know that her experiences, 3 years of starting Division I volleyball, is going to be tremendous, and it's going to be valuable. So, we see that at any one time we're going to need 3 and 4 players, potentially filling that position. But the freshmen are battling; they're doing well. For the most part, they're having more good days than bad days. We certainly see some setbacks here and there, but Faith Rockmore, she's standing out for us right now, as well as Mallory Wagner, and just excited about what we're seeing, because a lot of times, when freshmen come in, there's definitely a phase-in process, and it helped with the clubs that they've played with. Mallory, her involvement with USA Volleyball, all of those things contribute to them being more prepared for what they're facing here, and they're doing a great job with that. Additionally, in the backcourt, we're definitely looking at McKenna Payton in the libero position, as well as Paige Reed. They're really in the hunt and battling it out, and McKenna is looking like she's ready to step into that libero spot. I never say fill someone's shoes, because I don't think that's a fair shake, but she's doing a fantastic job, and I think that she's probably one of the best liberos we've had as a freshman in my tenure here at Cal State Fullerton, so I'm super excited.
All right, and now during the spring you pointed out the trio of Leah Best, Bree Moreland, and newcomer Elise Hensley as very efficient scorers. Can you give Titan fans an idea of who has kind of gone into that maybe fourth scorer during the preseason as potential?
Sure. Well, I think first off, we don't want to overlook those first 3. There's certain things that we've grown to expect from them, but there's a lot of maintenance that needs to go on in order to keep them at the top of their game. So we look for Bree to bring a lot. We look for Elise to contribute at a very high level, and we know that she can handle that. And the way Leah Best finished the previous fall, what we saw in the spring, it's definitely fair that she, has an opportunity to be a dominant middle in the Big West Conference as long as we keep her healthy and she stays mindful of her goals. In terms of that fourth score, we're not sure where that's going to come from. Is that going to come from the second middle? Is it going to come from the outside hitting position? Is it going to come from, a player that contributes out of the back row but can also score? We're open to a lot of possibilities, and, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how we score. It just matters that we score. So we're looking forward to that challenge, but, at the same time, we can't give someone experiences that don't have experience yet. We definitely have expectations of our personnel, and we'll see as time goes on. But excited about what we see with the team because they're really coming together, and they look like they like each other a lot. And as I've told them, I really believe them when they say that because it looks like they care for each other, they've got each other's backs, they work hard for each other, and they come to get better every day.
Now, you mentioned senior Bree Moreland, and she returns as one of your more experienced players and
Sure.
also played with the USA Under-23 Beach National team this summer. So you can just talk a little bit about maybe a difference from junior to senior year and what her role is on the court and off the court with the team this season.
I think every year that Bree comes into our program, she has more responsibility. Coming in as a junior last year, she had a lot on her plate. I mean, for the most part, we had 2 scorers in our program at that time and really lived and died by that reality all season long. And for the first half of the season, Bree carried the team offensively. It was a heavy load for her to carry, and it was tough for her to sustain. So I think that her challenges that she faces and the expectations that we have is for her to sustain over a longer period of time. But we've also done a lot of convincing to let her know that, we don't plan on having a 2-person offensive scheme. We're looking for 3 and 4 scorers to get the job done on any given night. And we hope that, that paves the way to feeling a little bit less pressure and more team-oriented. She also has, stepped up as team captain and took on those responsibilities in the springtime. And, she's doing a great job. It's a work in progress. Leaders are usually made, not born. And it's a process, and step number 1, I think most importantly, it's about what you do, not what you say. And so as we move along, I have to make sure that she doesn't have too much on her plate, and I have to disperse more of those on-court and off-court responsibilities that other people can carry because, Bree's going to have a lot to do being a 6-rotation player. She's a scorer from the end line, at the service line. She's a scorer out of the back row. She's a scorer in the front row and excellent ball controller and serve receiver. So she's got a lot of work to do.
And we've been talking a lot about the scoring, but obviously setting up the scores is junior Julie Consani, and she's entering her 3rd year here. So what's her comfort level like at this point, being a junior, being in her 3rd year, and what are your expectations in her role this season?
I think Julie is pretty excited about the season. She's always very enthusiastic, but I think she's finally feels like she's reached that rite of passage. Her first 2 years, the coach is getting on her a lot, and she's starting to notice that we've got other people that we need to keep our eye on, and that, having her with 2 years of experience, we expect certain things when she comes into the gym, and there's things that she needs to know, and she needs to know how to run an offense. She's been excellent when it comes to taking feedback. I think that that's been a relationship that we've been improving and trying to nurture over the course of her career. And I think she's taking the feedback much less personally and realizing that the feedback that we provide is, to help her to be successful and help her teammates to be successful and the program as a whole. So in terms of our expectations of Julie, do her best to feed the hitters the best, ball possible. Score when she's in the front row. I definitely want to see her be more of an offensive threat. Bring a strong serve from the end line, show the ability to score 2 to 3 points. What I notice in the gym right now, I just notice a more mature Julie. I think she's more than capable of being a better setter this year. She's got more firepower around her, which should make her life a lot easier. Again, the team is gelling very well. They are accepting her leadership from her role on our team, and if she can take care of those types of things, we're going to be pretty pleased. But it's a work in progress. So we talk a lot to the team about what's to come, and that's looking beyond our alumni match and looking at that first showdown, at UNLV. So we just want to get better every day, and Julie's going to be a key piece. But whether or not she delivers a hittable ball or not, the expectation on the hitter is to take care of business. So we just hope that she can continue to rise to the occasion and not only make her teammates better, but make them play hard for her.
Okay. And now, in addition to losing senior Kayla Nito, you also lost senior Gabrielle Dewberry after last season. And so you alluded to it a little bit earlier with McKenna Payton, but who are you looking to fill in that libero role?
Yeah, we have a lot of defensors, and we use that term as a very endearing term because we have a lot of young women that are working hard to figure out ways where they can contribute and help us in the backcourt. And we've done a little bit of experimenting in the springtime as well. But McKenna, she comes in with great experiences. I think the interesting thing about her is that I recruited her as an outside hitter. When you get a chance to take a look at her, you're going to kind of be like, Coach, she was an outside hitter? And I'll be like, yeah, absolutely. She's just I term it like she's a warrior on the court. She's just, she's that kind of kid that you want to go to battle with. And she just rolls up her sleeves and, comes into practice and is ready to do work. The nice part is that when she had the role with her club team as an outside hitter, they also primarily played her in the left back position, which is, pretty commonplace for the libero spot. But we're working on, not only continuing to maintain that level of excellence in the left back, but also to get her more comfortable playing center back and right back defense, depending on the strengths of the opponents that we play against.
And can you talk a little bit about just role players for the season? And we, have a little bit of idea who the starters would be, but who also we'll see on the court.
Sure. Our eyes are definitely on Kristen Brandsma and Holland Crenshaw to battle it out in the M2 spot. Right now it's predominantly been Holland. Kristen's been slowed a little bit by injury, but she's a very strong girl, and she has the ability to be very powerful, and that might be something that we look for. So I think in terms of potential role players, you're looking at Brandsma, you're looking at Stevens, you're looking at Rockmore, potentially Wagner, all in the front court positions. Another player that's really rising to the occasion and we're pretty pleased with in our trainings up in the gym right now is Ariana Salazar. And, she was a redshirt for us last year, and just making a nice progression and really standing out in our gym. And I think she's got the ability to potentially step in and help us in the right if needed, if Hensley needs a little bit of a reprieve, or in the middle if we need a different look. So we're just pleased with her development and excited about those types of things. In the backcourt, in terms of roles, we're looking for experience to come from Devin Ulmer. She's been a player that's been in our program now for 2 seasons, partially a small part of her first season and a big part of her second season. So, she's coming in with, her 3rd year of experience here, and, lots of experiences actually. Very familiar playing in the Big West. Came up with some huge digs, lots of experiences over the spring, and we'll be looking for Devin and also Abby Miraldi to come in and contribute in the backcourt, probably with the defensive specialist role. We'll be looking for one server for a middle, and then we'll be looking for, like I said, probably a 3-rotation backcourt defensive specialist to step in, most likely for the 0-2.
And now practice is going to now be in Titan Gym on this new floor. Talk a little bit about your excitement and the team's excitement about the new floor here at Titan Gym.
Well, certainly every coach wants to be on their floor when they're training. So, it's been nice to be a very close-knit unit up on the 2 courts that we've had available to us. We are excited to get down to our home floor. There's a lot of new features, a lot of new graphics on the floor that we need to familiarize ourselves with. There's certain areas of the court that are covered by palm trees. We're not going to be accustomed to that. And as of yet, there's no volleyball lines down, so we got to get those lines down. And once the lines get down, we'll probably jump on the court this afternoon and try to figure out, what side is going to be our home starting side, because it really has to be what's best for the team, and getting familiar, like I said, with the different types of graphics, because, it's so important as an athlete, out of your peripheral vision, to kind of, see what's going on and, know where, have court awareness without having to look back at the sideline, where the heck am I? So we'll be looking forward to that happening.
Keep going. Okay. And then last question here. For the second straight year, the Big West is going to have a little bit different of a look, but can you talk about how the conference has evolved over the last 2 years? Addition of Hawaii and Pacific is now exiting.
Well, it looks to be a long season with 9 teams. Looks like we're stretching it out pretty good, but it'll be very pleasant to have that singular focus when we go to Hawaii, and not have to multitask and think about either playing Northridge on the front end or on the return trip. So I think that that's going to make things, much easier. But with the departure of Pacific, things still remain very competitive. And as evidenced in, last season's standings, you see not Pacific, who had predominantly been a powerhouse in volleyball, but you see, other teams emerging. And those teams are coming back. Those players are coming back, and we all lose a few players, and but there are some programs that haven't lost much. So the expectations are very high, and we know that it's going to be great volleyball. The Big West Conference is known for championship volleyball. Multi-winner of national titles, and we look forward to competing for a championship.
All right. Well, thanks for your time today, Coach.
Thank you.